Dr. freaking Doom. Did you see the early designs for Dr. Doom? And what did you think? I'm telling you right now, the biggest thing, I'm telling you right now, here's my bet. You want to know my prediction? However good and great Wakanda Forever is going to be, and I believe it's going to be great. It's going to be emotional. It's going to be powerful. It's going to tug at your heartstring. It's going to deliver on the action. I believe that. I think what's going to steal the show is the end credit. And I think the end credit is going to be Dr. Doom, like this on the throne.
And see, I applaud you in 1,000 ways. I'm not going to physically do it, but you and I have talked about this over the phone repeatedly. I think you're right. I think it's going to end ergo like they did almost with Thanos for phase 3 and what have you, and tying all that together is that Doom is going to be sitting somewhere just like, okay, I've watched this whole thing go down between Atlantis with Namor and with T'Challa's family and the people of Wakanda. Now I get to get busy. And I just think he's going to be in classic Dr. Doom fashion, sitting in that concrete stone throne that they have for him. And he's just going to be sound, even though we won't be able to see him smile under that mask. That's going to be the energy that they're going to give you, that he's literally grinning under that mask of, to quote George Papard from the A-Team, I love it when a plan comes together.
So
let me I do believe that's how they're going to end the film.
Yeah, 100%. I'm willing to bet $1 million on it, and I'm willing to bet that it's going to steal the show. I think it's going to steal the show. Now, having said that, what do you feel about that? Because Dr. Doom is a grand character. He is the #1 Marvel villain. I mean, bar none. Maybe my Magneto is a close second. But he's a Fantastic Four villain. He's a Fantastic Four villain. So how do you feel? He doesn't have to be. He's a big enough villain that he's an MCU villain. He's a Marvel Universe villain. So he doesn't have to be. But you know what I'm talking about. Like, you understand what I mean. So how do you feel about the fact that it seems like, how are they going to make him the Fantastic Four villain? And maybe you don't care. Maybe he doesn't have to be, because he's simple. He's more than that. What's your feeling on that?
Yeah, and I know we've been talking about droning on, but the answer to this question is relatively simple. You introduce Doom at the end of this as the antagonist that helped put all this together. And when phase 5 is over, because phase 5 is only going to be a year, they're ending it in a year, okay? When the Fantastic Four is brought about, Mr. Feige and company, you need to listen to myself and Captain America. You need to do what we're about to tell you. Basically, the very first Fantastic Four movie, as I've said to you, Captain America, doesn't need to include Doom. Not at all. You do along the line of what you and I had talked about before, but that's another show all to itself about the Fantastic Four, how to do the movie, the origins, etc. You basically do a flashback movie relating to the Fantastic Four, and you do their first comic and their first adventure with the Mole Man. Strangely, well, this may sound strange to a lot of people, and I don't mean it to, but the way you bring Doom into the Fantastic Four is at the very end of whatever their first film is going to be. The Mole Man is defeated, and you do it in real time, the contemporary age, the right way. And at the very end of it, the FF gets some sort of a news flash or something to let them know something's not quite right in Wakanda, and Dr. Doom has been spotted. That's how you bring him into the Fantastic Four.
If I may, listening to you, I have an idea as well. If I may, I have an idea as well. Because this is very important, because we have to remember something, and it's something that we're kind of overlooking a little bit. And it's a very powerful thing, and it relates back to what you said initially, which is the family aspect, the new approach that Marvel and you feel that Black Panther is going to do it. We remember something. Every character that we're discussing right now comes from the Fantastic Four. So Black Panther comes from the Fantastic Four. Namor the Submariner comes from the Fantastic Four. Dr. Doom comes from the Fantastic Four. So the question becomes, will the Fantastic Four ultimately be the foundation of those characters, or will they be on the side notes? And I think that you can introduce it in a way that makes it foundational to the Fantastic Four. How would I do that? And this may be controversial, but you're right. I would do Fantastic Four introduction. I would do the origin. I need the origin. Even if it's going back to the past, like what happened in the past, and then we come into the present. I think the origin of the Fantastic Four, as told by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, is a very, very important origin, and it hasn't been told well. And I think it's a compelling origin, and I think it needs to be told well. I think it's important. So I would do a present time Fantastic Four movie that talks about how the Fantastic Four gained their powers. I'd have them face off against the Mole Man. I'd have the Fantastic Four. I'd take my time. Doom would be lurking in the background. I would make the Fantastic Four go into their adventures. There are several key adventures that are essential to the Fantastic Four. You've got discovering the Inhumans. You've got discovering Atlantis, right? The undersea. So you've got underground, Mole Man. You've got undersea, Namor. You've got the Himalayas with the Inhumans. You've got space with Silver Surfer and Galactus and so on. And you have the negative zone with Annihilus. So these are like really big, awesome stories that could be told that reflect on the Fantastic Four. So I would tell those stories, maybe perhaps in a retro way, because some of the stories would have to be retro. I'd tell it in a story, but in the meantime, Doom's threat would be getting greater and greater. It would be getting greater in the Black Panther movie. It would be getting greater in the Namor movie. It would be getting greater. And then someone would come to the Fantastic Four and say, Reed, listen, we have a problem, and only you can help us solve this problem. And the Fantastic Four agree to take on this challenge. And then the animosity all comes together because you discover their relationship, and that this whole thing, like his hatred for Reed Richards has been driving this whole thing. Like he just wants to humiliate Reed Richards. That's how I would go with it. That's how I'd go with it.
I love that. And you just put the other bug in my ear. I got to say this to you because that's a brilliant way of doing that, but I've got to say this to you.
Let's do it.
The one thing you put out there was that you have all that hatred and what have you built up. Do you remember what I said when you and I were talking about what we would do with the Fantastic Four, when I said allow them not to be in New York or even on the planet at one point?
Correct. I do remember that. Yes.
Okay. Who's to say that Doom still believes they're alive?
Ooh.
So when they show up in Wakanda,
you're right.
Like,
you're right.
What the hell are you doing here? You're gone.
You're right.
How did you get here?
Which
and he loses it because they are in fact alive.
Alive. Exactly. In other words, that's brilliant, dude. Kevin Feige needs to hire us, man. Kevin Feige needs to freaking hire us. Let me tell you something. You're absolutely right. Doom's coming out party. In other words, his political games with Wakanda, to take over Wakanda, to take over Atlantis, is his bid to come out and be the leader of the world that he thinks he should be. And the reason he's doing that is because he believes Reed Richards is not going to be able to oppose him anymore because Reed Richards is dead. And then he's making these moves, and then Reed Richards comes back from, as you said, a negative zone level adventure, coming back from some sort of outer space adventure. And it's like, wait a second, what? He's back?
He's back.
And he's back. And now it's like, I'm already taking steps, and then Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four opposing him. He has to stop them before they make a move, but they're gonna make a move before he makes a move. Oh my God, that could
let me ask you something, because I know you've followed more of the FF than I have, and you know more about the history. Wasn't there a storyline in a series of the comics where Doom poisoned T'Challa?
That would have been later. That would have been later in the 2000s. Yes.
That's what you use.
Yeah.
The call goes out to Reed and company. Wakanda and the Black Panther need your help.
Yeah.
They arrive at Wakanda thinking that T'Challa is the one that called them. And within the space of what you're talking about, cementing and platforming everything, when they get there, and I know we're discussing this like we're taking up time, but here's the thing. They get there thinking Reed is in front of T'Challa.
Oh my God.
And the button or whatever is hit on the suit, and the face mask reveals, no, T'Challa isn't here. He's gone. And unfortunately, and this is how the movies can deal with the death of Chadwick Boseman, which allows for a greater level of, what do you mean Doom killed him?
That's where I was going to go. That's where I was waiting for you to go there, because I trusted that you would. But that's the thing, Kevin. That's the place. Doom should be responsible for killing Black Panther. That should be it right there. Here's what it is. We got it. We're writing the script. We're writing the script as we go along. Let me tell you something. Let's take it easy. Let's slow down a little bit. Shuri, as brilliant as she is not Reed Richards. And she sends out the signal, I need help. Something is happening to T'Challa. I can't figure it out. Reed Richards comes into the thing. It's too late. And now it's like, what happened? And through that investigation, we realize only one other being is smart enough to achieve this, and that is Dr. freaking Doom.
Yeah.
And by the way, we could find out that even T'Chaka's death, Doom played a role in. Like, he's been pulling the strings from the get. We can find out that all the political stuff going on, Doom had a hand in all of it.
And this all goes back to what I said at the beginning of the conversation. I think this is why I said their stories are going to become more character driven. Although what you and I have been talking about is just you and I as two fans. But this is why I believe they're going to become more character driven, more character based. And this is again why I believe the end of phase 5, going into phase 6, is going to be more about family than anything else.